So poops, some of you may think war is bad, but for some people, they think that war must be had. This is one of those cases, so let's talk about Critical Spectator's war with Malaysia. So poops, if you didn't know Critical Spectator, how could you? He has 40,000 followers on Facebook, runs a couple of different websites, and he has a lot of fans, but also lots of anti-fans. Basically, he is a shit stirrer.
Even more importantly though,
how could you? One of Ho Ching's favorite influencers, Pritam Singh's for that matter. Are you telling me you don't know about Bertha Hansen? No, but for real though, if you're living in Malaysia and you didn't know about the guy, I don't blame you, cause normally he writes more about Singapore, where he's become enough of a menace that even people like WP's Kenneth Tiong raised the guy in parliament, asking if the PAP government was gonna condemn him. Is now in a very different war though, and that is a war with Malaysia. Or what some might say is Malaysia. Basically, just the other day, Critical Spectator trained his guns on Malaysia and came out with this little table in a post with a fascinating little infographic that goes like this. Yup, yup, and yup. Now, the reaction from a whole bunch of different people has been like intense and insane. And right now, you're not looking at the original. This is actually a repost after the original was deleted by Meta. Possibly cause Critical, shame that it's not this critical though, wrote, "Between sobbing their eyes out for the Palestinian terrorists and the murderous Iranian regime, many Malaysian Muslims like to come here to try to convince all of us of." And there you go, it was just clap. At its peak, I think it had like, what, 4,000 likes? Maybe angry reacts, I don't know. I didn't manage to catch it before it was actually removed. But I saw it and I thought to myself, that's interesting. Shame though that we can't see it right now, because there was a whole lot of discussion that was going on. But see, the thing is that this was not actually the first salvo in this war. The first actually came around the time when this was published and there was a full-on exhibit that I went to. Feel free to watch my experience right over there. During which he was just riffing off what Tunku Abdul Rahman allegedly said when he allegedly cut off Singapore from Malaysia to save the body from gangrene, and he made this fascinating little infographic right here. From reading the comments and actually making my own comment, I confirm an interesting fact, which is that this is not in fact a so-called Singapore FB page, and to the extent that I know, he is living in Poland.
or perhaps just not Singapore. AKA, this is not a diplomatic issue. But yep, he's a Singapore fanboy for sure.
There's a whole full-on philosophy about why he writes about Singapore right here. Feel free to check it out if you're interested. So yeah, it's kind of wrong to say that he is a Singapore-based Facebook page. Anyway, this kind of begs the question, is he right? Well, I guess if you were to say so, then you probably end up like a casual Rex stan, being the butt of jokes, chased by people going into denial. And to some degree, maybe that's kind of fair regardless of what Calvin Cheng might say. Because it's a fact that a lot of times people just don't talk about these issues. Some people might say they can't handle the truth, as they paint a picture of how actually non-Malays are so discriminated against. It's all so horrible. It's an apartheid society. And yeah, I'm like, if you're listening to all of the yapping about so-called Quil Haram, UEC, and 100,000 people trying to insist that you use the language they are most comfortable with while they offer absolutely nothing of value worth communicating, you might very well think that, hey, maybe the guy is actually right. But I'll just say this right here. As someone living in Malaysia,
I honestly think his claims are a bit overblown.
First of all, apartheid is an exaggeration that is like way overblown. It's not like we don't interact with one another. We see each other on a day-to-day basis and we interact with the people that we like. Doesn't matter whether they're Malay or they're not Malay. And next, you have to look at the historical context. At least part of what you see in this table right here is because there was a legit problem of inequality when the British came and when they left, leaving the communities unequal because of a whole range of different factors, possibly including the fact that the British kind of left the Malays in the kampungs and some people like complaining but not doing work. Whoa. While the laborers from China and India basically came in, started doing well economically, and before you know it, then there is this huge separation in the society. Fair point, which interestingly enough, Critical actually acknowledges even as he writes about that from a slightly different perspective, noting by the way that alas, it's those racial undertones that matter the most. They are the whole point of the Bumi system, to show the minorities that they aren't really equal citizens, just guests in the country of their birth. Wow. And right about now, I'm sure a lot of people are just casually getting even more triggered, while even more others are saying, wow, you all can't stand the truth.
So, one small truth that I can talk about is that you probably can't blame colonialism forever.
And so the war continues. Perhaps even more people are gonna go out there and mass report the guy, say, this is unacceptable. And next thing you know, we'll have our very own Kenneth Tiong asking if the Malaysian government is gonna be condemning Critical Spectator. Wouldn't that be an interesting discussion? But you know, to that I say, if you don't like Critical Spectator, then maybe be careful what you wish for. Not that I think that your wishing is actually gonna accomplish anything, because when Ryan Selva stepped on the Quran, I don't think there was an effort to actually remove the post.
Unlike what happened in Singapore.
But yeah, let's say somebody super motivated decides to take up a motion in Parliament to discuss Critical Spectator and how Malaysia should block him. Probably what's gonna happen is that you're gonna have a full-on Streisand Effect thing where the more people talk about this, the more this little picture is gonna spread. The debate is gonna go on and on and on. And before you know it, if it is true that there is some unjustness, before you know it, it's gonna become common knowledge not just in Malaysia but also all over the world. The more you yap, the more you complain. Wouldn't that be wonderful for Critical Spectator? He can go from 40,000 followers to 400,000. So yeah, if you're the kind of person who just doesn't like Critical Spectator, or you just don't like what you hear on the internet, the solution is very simple. Turn away, look away, and run along now, my child, because all those people who are listening to him must be crazy anyway, right? You shouldn't be listening to this agitator, right?
That's the opposite of what people have been doing though.
You can see the racist comments, the Mossad accusations, from this counseling student, I might add.
Good luck to anyone trying to get counseled by him, I guess.
Accusations of China Bukit, followed by 100% assessments because this guy is racist and refuses to use his real name. And there you are with angry comment after angry comment, with that common theme out there that goes, truth is bitter. Yeah, honestly, I think that if these jokers out there who are responding in this way, accusing people of being Chinese, before you know it, there's going to be a self-fulfilling prophecy and this will become an apartheid society, even though my experience doesn't actually reflect that. Malaysia is not a historically guaranteed project. There's no guarantee that it's going to be surviving beyond our generation or even like 10 years from now. And countries have to evolve to deal with the realities of the modern world. And sometimes in order to evolve, you need to actually look at the ways in which you actually fall short. Not be going out there just screaming about history that, by the way, none of you were actually involved in shaping, yet you seem to act as if you are the ones who gave people citizenship, instead of being parasites born in this generation who like to comment on this issue because it makes you feel better about yourself. But yep, there we are. This is Critical Spectator's war on Malaysia, or Malaysia's war on Critical Spectator, whatever it is, however you like to say it. It is ongoing, and for all you know, it's gonna continue even more. So what are you gonna do, Malaysia? Are you gonna discuss this in Parliament? Well, you know what that's gonna cost. And well, Malaysia, I'll be looking forward to your response. What do you think, Sapoops? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. That's all to say about that, and bye.